I'm Arman Yavuz. I'm the lead developer of Bannerlord and the founder of Taylor's Entertainment. It is very much different from Mount & Blade's original character system, and we have basically 18 different skills. And in Bannerlord, the player basically has to exercise each skill individually. So, for example, if the player wants to increase one-handed skill, then he or she will have to fight with a one-handed weapon. And if, for example, he or she works on the trade skill and does a lot of trade and does a lot of profit from that, then the trade skill will increase. So that's like a very much different system. And we also have we have more than 20 different perks for each skill. So we have a really deep and interesting character system. So yeah, whenever you are progressing through the character system, you will have to make decisions about how to develop your character, and there are two different ways to do that. Basically, one is some system we call the focus system, and every time you level up, you gain a number of focus points, and then you distribute your focus points into different skills. And basically that doesn't make you automatically learn that skill. You still have to practice that skill in order to learn it, but it determines how fast you are developing in that aspect. So basically you can say that I'm focusing my character on riding, for example, or on, like said, diplomacy or trade, whatever, and then you learn those skills much faster than the other skills. And on top of that, whenever you are learning a certain specific skill, you will be gaining perks, but at most points you will have to choose between different perks. So, for example, if you are learning, let's say, the one-hand skill, you will at some point you will have to choose a perk that gives you a bonus on horseback versus a perk that gives you a bonus on foot, for example, and you cannot take both of them. You will have to do both. So I mean, all through the game you will have to do those choices, and you will end up with very varied different character builds according to those choices. Our focus is very much still on the sandbox gameplay. So basically the storyline is not going to be like a linear scripted storyline that you really need to follow. But what we have is that at the beginning of the game you will have basically like some quests that get you going and get you the initial introduction to the game world. But after that, it will basically like slowly set you free in the sandbox game, and it will only like remind itself slightly over the gameplay. So it's not something that you really need to follow, but more like something that gives you some initial direction. It's something that we have been working on, but it will really reveal that more later. So we are mostly focusing on the basic gameplay mechanics at this stage. So basically what we are focusing on the mechanics such that they will be relevant at the beginning of the game, at the medium game, and at the middle game, and at the late game. So the commander mode basically helps with that. So what happens is that at the very beginning of the game, you just have yourselves and just a few characters. So when you go into a big battle, then you won't really make a big contribution, but you will just fight as a soldier yourself. At the middle game, you will be like basically a lord or like a vassal in a big kingdom. So when you enter a battle, then commander of the kingdom will delegate some of the troops to you. So for example, you will take charge of the cavalry and then try to be useful in that battle, commanding the cavalry. And you will have to read how the battle is progressing and be as useful as possible. And when you are at the late game and you are a commander yourself, then you will be able to command the entire battle. So all the mechanics we are trying to see how we can use those in the various stages of the game. In Bannerlord, we want to keep the game's core mechanics, so we still even improve them. So we want deep gameplay mechanics. We want a challenging, interesting game. So we don't want to compromise on those fronts, but we want to make the game more accessible and more easy to get into. So we are working a lot on that, and we want to make the game much more transparent. So we are streamlining the user interfaces. So for example, we have a ton of tooltips, and wherever you basically hover your mouse on, you will be able to understand how that mechanic works and what kind of bonuses you are getting, where you, for example, you are failing, and you can right click on anything to get a relevant encyclopedia entry. So the game hopefully is going to be much more accessible and much more understandable for the players, but it will still be challenging and deep and engaging. Yeah, definitely. Whenever we are developing new features, that's something we really care about, to make things moddable and extendable. So we are adding a lot of new features on that front as well. So for example, for Warband, the modding had come more as an afterthought, and we had to retrofit it into the existing system. But for Bannerlord, we are keeping things much more scalable and extendable. So we'll be able to support multiple modes working at the same time, and modes will be able to play nice with each other. So for example, if one mod, for example, changes how the trade system works, another mod will be able to also influence that, and if they will be able to work together. So we will try to support the mods as much as we can. It's not that we release that, but we are not announcing it. But our philosophy is more we'll release the game when it is ready, and we don't want to set a release date now and then miss it or delay it or postpone it.
Sure.
So basically, we are actually working very hard. For the last few months almost. Our team has been working like crazy, working 80 hours a week, almost 7 days. So we are working very hard, but we still don't know. We don't have an exact release date. A lot of our focus currently is trying to finish the game. From here, there are so many different aspects that we want to explore. So, for example, the naval combat, we didn't do it for Bannerlord yet. We have ideas about how to do that. A lot of mechanics. Multiplayer, for example, we have interesting game modes there, but I'm pretty sure there are lots of different things we can do that. Once we are finished with the game, there are aspects that we want to explore, but we are not really working on that too much at the moment, so I can't say too much about that.